After classes the next day, I instantly head towards the student council room to talk to Shizune. Did we do any of this? No, okay. Even though she's in class, trying to cut her off and have a conversation with her near the doorway out in the hall could be a little obstructive. Better to try and meet up with her at the student council room. I take my time heading there, getting a juice from the vending machine on the way. I also go over what I might say to her in my head. It's nothing too important, only a few questions about upcoming events. The resort is unlocked when I get there. I think the room was empty too. Oh god, the bad music's playing. If I couldn't see Shizune's bag perched on her desk with the top of her head peeking from behind it, looks as she's built herself a little fort. Shizune gives a wave from behind her bag before picking it up with a finger and moving it out of the way. But after that, she immediately goes back to tapping her pen against the desk and staring into a checklist as if it held the meaning of life itself. What do you need? I wanted to see if there was anything I could help with, like all that over there. What are those? I point to the medium-sized stack of folders beside her before she waves her hand dismissively. I can handle it myself. Then what about the elections? Also, where's Misha? It's going okay, and I told that Misha I was going to handle everything myself. Why? Shizune spins a pen in her hand slowly before working it between each of her fingers like a needle through a patch of cloth. No reason. Really? No reason. She signs it again for emphasis to shut down the notion that there's anything more behind it, but there is, since she's definitely not acting normally. What's with the silent treatment is a phrase that immediately springs to mind, even though it is hardly the time for humor. It does describe how I feel. We can't communicate normally, so I appreciate the few ways that we can. To be shut out like this, though, hurts. I'm a little sick right now. Not too sick, but like sick. It's obvious that whenever her reasons, it's going to be pretty much impossible to talk to Shizune today. Just beyond just being stubborn, she seems depressed. But with the way that our conversation is going already, I don't see myself being able to find out what she's depressed about. Somehow, that only makes me want to find out more, and that means I have to ask Misha. The problem is I don't know where Misha goes in her spare time. The roof, I think we know. After asking way more people than I should have, they've noticed a girl with bright pink hair around and getting way more negative answers than expected. I finally turn to a couple who have seen her. By the time I reach the cafeteria, where Misha has apparently been this entire time. Sorry, I'm so gross right now. I've been around the whole school twice, and I'm very tired. I realize I passed by her before, I just didn't see her behind a pillar. Why are you better at finding me than I am at finding you? You were looking for me, Hichan. Who knows? Just may think it's just a coincidence. You know, the whole point of coincidences is that they aren't consistent. Are you having a really late lunch? I didn't get to eat lunchtime, so yeah. But not too much, so I can still have dinner. Did you want to talk to me about something, Hichan? I don't waste any time. Yeah, the reason I'm here. Did you notice Shizune has been kind of moody today? I want to ask you the same thing, Hichan. Well, except she's been this way for a couple of days now. I see. Hichan, do you think it's because of something I did? Do you think I got upset at Hichan like last time? No, she seems angrier at me, anyway. I'm not lying, I really don't. Unfortunately, my attempts to assure her that I don't seem to be going so well. In her own way, Misha is pretty stubborn, too. Eventually, I just head back to my dorm. The last few days here have been nothing but a continuously frustrating experience, and they left me drained. I feel tired enough that I can decide to take a nap. Sorry, well, hoping that maybe I'll figure things out in my sleep. Yeah, that'll fix it. There, bud. Oh, it's not a sleep. He's getting waking up. Yeah. When I wake up, I feel more refreshed, but still without clarity. The only thing has changed is that it's dark outside. From the opening of the window a little, I can tell that the weather is kind of nice. After dry swallowing my nighttime pills, I take a little walk around the vending machines. To the vending machines. They're out of everything I normally get, so I mash my hand against the buttons until something pops out. Lights are off in the main building, including the student council room. Just an offhand observation. She sleeps in there all the time, though. As I'm thinking to myself, I hear a rustling behind me. I've seen this in a movie before. It's a very ominous sound to hear, alone at night. I knew it was going to be Kenji. I was going to say it, too. Luckily, it's just Kenji, and he wanders out from the bushes in an unusually cheery mood. Hey, what the hell? Do you just creep out on people at night and just casually go, hey, a lot? Nope, that'd be weird. I knew it was you. I have extremely good night vision. Maybe it's because I'm superhuman. What are you doing here, then? Could ask you the same thing. What are you doing here? I can consider just telling him the truth, but quickly decide against it. It would take too long to explain. Howling at the moon. I do that too sometimes. The moon isn't out tonight, barely even hear him, feeling a bit resentful at the interpretation. I lied to Shizune through my teeth that there was nothing wrong. Or to be more exact, I lied to her my hands. The exact same time, I was carrying out an entirely different conversation with Misha. That conversation, understandably, could upset Shizune, but there was no way that she could have heard it. Even Misha's hands, usually signing all her thoughts, were completely still. Even if they weren't, I was standing in front of her, blocking them from Shizune's view. What did I miss? I don't remember that. The only way that Shizune could listen in on that conversation would be as if she could read lips. Pretty much. Or was it the conversation on the rooftop? I don't remember. Pretty much the first thing I'd asked about when taking sign language was about lip reading. Just out of curiosity. It's not easy, nor is it perfect, so I never considered it until now. It would make sense, and the room for misunderstandings while reading lips wouldn't help. Right? She's never heard the words spoken before, so she would have to recognize patterns in the way lips move. She would have to see words without knowing. And then, like, I can even talk without oohing my mouth that much, so it's really hard to read what I'm saying. Sure, it's not coming out perfectly, but it's not, like, the hardest thing to do in the world. So, like, you could just talk without her knowing, and then, like, recognizing words, you would have to have a very expressive mouth to really just see the words come out. And even then, it's like, you need to be told, this is told, and, like, do that in the hand motion. So it's like, how do you, like, that'd be difficult to read lips. So I realized that I could use the cover of darkness to buy milk. Usually I go out when it's raining, or I shroud myself in the sea of bikers, tourists. This is much more consistent. I'm spending too much money on milk now, though. Seem kind of mopey or out of it or something. Don't think too hard. Man has to be about action. You think about stuff all day, but change the situation around to doing something is the best way. I do the things all the time without thinking about it. That's why in the middle school they called me the cause of many problems. Thought it was cool. Sounds like an Indian name. I'm not really in the mood. Having a bad day? Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of distracted right now. So distracted that it doesn't hit me that until he leaves that this is actually kind of sound advice. I think Shizune would have given me the same suggestion. But then it's too late to thank him politely. I already responded in the rudest tone possible, and I feel like an ass. In retrospect, these past few days I've regretted every action I've taken. The worst part is that I haven't taken the time to stew over them, and in doing so, learn from them. This only has led to more regrets. Whoa. This section's crazy. Because it's like the same, it's literally an alternate reality. The other ones are like, this is like, this is completely different, but happening at the same time that we could have been like with Rin at the painting thing. This is literally like on track, 1-to-1, same conversations, except we slept with Misha. So it's weird. The next morning, as I'm getting dressed, I hear a knock on my door. Quickly putting on the rest of my clothes, I open it without stopping to think who could be behind it. Really? Turns out to be Shizune. Misha told me you were looking for me. I'm a bit hurt that I don't even get a good morning, but it's not too big of a deal. I was. But you found me yesterday. Shizune's fingers trace a crack in the wall. It seems like she's trying her best to look distant. Well, I didn't make it easy, did I? It's alright. That's why I'm here. We can talk today, although I would kind of want to go somewhere else. What about class? It's fine, it's fine. How about we take a walk around the school? Everywhere except the main building is going to be deserted. The first period bell should be ringing right now. Should be ringing is such a funny way to phrase that, too. I take a glance at my watch and see that she's right. Okay. Is there something wrong? Why do you think there's something wrong? Because you're obviously upset. I could tell. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. Shizune quickly cracks her knuckles while I sign to her. Apparently, I'm easier to read than I thought. I was trying hard to hide it. Can you tell what I'm thinking right now? I don't respond, and Shizune heads towards the door, slowly enough that I can tell that she wants me to follow her. Her hands are folded behind her back, which is arched against them, as though she's trying to bend over backwards at any second. Outside, I see Shizune is right. The school is completely deserted. Although it's not my first time seeing the school like this, it's kind of eerie. Shizune acts as though I'm not there, browsing a vending machine and taking a slow and winding path until we end up behind the main building. Finally, she leans against the wall and faces me, but it's like I'd forgotten how to start a conversation. There's a saying, you don't know how much you screwed up until you screwed up. Who says that? I guess it's me. Reconsidering her train of thought, she waves her hand in frustration. Okay, I'll put it differently. When I was younger, we had to make posters for Earth Day in school. There was another girl in my class whom everyone considered the best artist. It wasn't because she could draw better than everyone else, it was how much she could fit into a single picture. I wanted to be better than her, so I made countless posters until I ended up with the best possible one. I had to be the best and had to have the greatest one, and in the end, everyone liked my poster the most of all, even the teacher. A week later, it was meaningless. I threw it in the trash. I think I've told you something like this before. Yeah. When I feel like I'm finished, I wish I could just wipe the slate clean. Whether I succeed or not, I put Misha through a lot. I even dragged you into it. At every point, I could have solved this silly situation and prevented it from happening in the first place. It keeps coming back to me. It's like the worst feeling. It's the worst feeling. Especially when I feel like I've done nothing right and everything wrong. Like recently. It's the worst kind of failure. I feel like a failure on every level. I wish I could wipe away everything I've done and just be alone, since all I've done is mess with Misha for 2 years, then jerk you around for a year for selfish reasons. It's fine. No, it's not. You don't understand. I was just thinking about it. Everything I do feels like I have to beat someone else. Everyone else, even. If that's how it is, then what are my relationships with people? They almost feel the same. I can see where this is going. The point is that I messed so many people up by being selfish, and now I want to be away from other people for a while. Even me. There's a pause. Yes. Followed by an even longer pause, this time from me. I see. That's the most selfish thing you could do. Just you making another decision by yourself. You slept with her best friend, bro. For a moment, it looks as though she's considering the best way to respond, but in the end, she simply nods, which I think is the best way to respond anyway. It's very like her to be a roundabout even now, but ultimately without excuses. All my emotions simmer inside me. I feel like a kettle in front of me, water rolling inside it so close that I could touch it and feel the heat radiating off of it. I'm glad to be glad for the distraction because I know there's no recourse or bargaining possible. You told me that everything was fine, but it wasn't true, was it? I can't believe it ever again, then. Alright. Not even bothering to sign it, I stand up. My hands are in my pockets, fingering my loose change. The morning air is cold against my face. Well, it's so sad. Why does she have a little cat? Is that the one we won for her at the fair? As I look back at her, she seems really lonely. I'm reminded of myself. I've made that expression before. Maybe it's on my own face right now. It feels like the image of such a lonely girl that will stick in my mind forever. Every moment where I could have prevented this or solved the problem comes back to me. It makes me smile in a way without amusement. I don't think we did anything different. Besides sleeping with Misha, there was no difference to what we did to Shizune. Maybe it's because I skipped all the stuff we've already seen, but maybe it just seemed like he was less caring towards her. Maybe there was a situation where in the other playthrough we helped her somehow, or maybe Misha was less distant because we didn't sleep with her or something. I don't remember the difference between the routes, but it doesn't seem from where I stand that there was anything different that we could have done. She didn't end up finding out that we slept with Misha. Misha and I were still talking afterward, like nothing had happened, and the same conversations went through. So that's just the sad ending, I guess. I'll see you guys next time. I think we're gonna go with Emmy's route because we spent a lot of time with Lily in this run. So that'll be fun. Maybe. I don't know.